So thank you all for being here yet again. This time last year, we all came together in this room for the first annual JoePStrong Night of Strength. It was a night to reunite with people we'd not seen in years, a night to meet new friends, a night of laughs and at times tears. But above all, it was a night where the JoePStrong family stepped up big time in a display of love and support for someone we are all honored and grateful to call our friend and brother, Joe P. I know we all think of Joe often and want to know how he's doing. I originally planned to read the letter that he had sent us 3 weeks ago. Well, what I have in my hand is an email Joe sent to me today that he's asked me to share with all of you. I know hearing his words read aloud in this setting will truly reinforce why we are all here. To all my friends, family, and JoePStrong supporters, thank you for coming tonight. A special thanks to Adam Drescher, Jeff Deutsch, Taylor Germano, Tim Pantello, Jamie Warble, and Zach Wiener for spearheading this event 2 years in a row. I'm simply in awe of all the work you have done and the support I've received. Shout out to Ron Minatello, Tim Harkins, Mark Coluccio, and Mark Dinallo for stepping up to the plate all year long to help with anything and everything. Love you always. And most importantly, thank you to my mother, who spends every waking hour trying to save her son's life. When you see her tonight, give her some love. She's been through a lot. Love you, Mom. I really don't know what to say, so excuse me for just being honest at this moment. This can't be real. I repeat, this can't be real. You can't all be gathered tonight for the reason you are. Every day I sit utterly floored and shocked at how drastic my life has changed. On November 30th, 2013, I was hiking in Marin, California with my wife. It was a beautiful sun-drenched day amongst the redwoods of Northern California. Later, I returned to my home in San Francisco, when my 3 80-pound dogs jumped all over me, slaughtering me with kisses, fully knowing I was about to take them for their walk through Land's End Park, a stretch of rocky cliffs along the Pacific just a mere 4 blocks from my front door. After the walk, my wife and I ordered Mediterranean, and if memory serves me correctly, we binge-watched House of Cards on Netflix. Actually, she binged, I was sleeping with the dogs. A day with your significant other, walk the dogs, and everyone snuggles on the couch with some good TV. An average day in the life for many, but from where I'm sitting, it may as well have been heaven. 68 days later, it would all be gone. No wife, no dogs, no home, and worst of all, no answers. In a day and age when we put all our hope and stock in modern medicine for everything from organ transplants to cancer to stopping global pandemics, there's nothing more frightening than hearing from the best doctors in the world, we have nothing. Like I said, this can't be real. That's just my story. Tragically, there are thousands and thousands more like it. That's what ALS does. It steals your heaven. I sometimes wonder why God would take so much all at once, then it hits me. Just look around the room tonight. God was merely bringing me home. So the only thing left to do is try and self-heal. As you go about your days and nights, know I'm here in Florida in deep meditation, creating my new heaven. And it involves all of you. I can feel it now. That's me standing at your front door, healthy and smiling, waiting to come in for dinner. And there I am again, laughing way too loud at your party. That's us on the golf course joking about that terrible shot you just hit. I'm firmly convinced that was directed at me. Or maybe we're just sitting on a beach in the Keys, a drink in our hand with nothing but the turquoise water, and tonight is just a memory. Please, when you think of me, take a minute, close your eyes, and see these visions and more like them. Let your imagination run wild. More importantly, feel how amazing you will feel as we were living it. In my last email I mentioned I believe we have powers beyond our understanding. Meditation and visualization has been practiced for over 5,000 years and is written in about every holy book known to man. But before you say, Joe has really lost it, let me leave you with a little science and mysticism. NYU Hospital is an ongoing studies of a Tibetan man's brain after he cured himself. Cured himself of what, you ask? Diabetes, and gangrene, and tuberculosis, all through meditation. Last year, a study conducted at Harvard in association with the Mass General Hospital proved definitively that meditation grows gray matter in brain in just 8 weeks' time. Neuroscientists are finally recognizing the potential of the human mind. Lastly, scientists have discovered and documented meditation not just the practice of the mind, but of the heart. When study subjects were asked to meditate on the word love or compassion, heart rhythms changed and they literally recorded on video neurons reconnecting in the brain. So when I think about all of the people here tonight, all the text messages, the emails, the checking in on me over the last year, all the hard work and selfless dedication that went into tonight's event, I feel all that love and compassion, and I close my eyes. Now that's real. Believe it. Love you all. See you soon. Fight, love, live, and visualize. Joe P. And he says, P.S. Damn, I miss my dogs. So as I read Joe's email earlier today, my emotions, and I'm sure they did the same for you, ran the gamut. Choking up 1 minute, smiling the next. But that's Joe, able to articulate something so powerful while taking through the entire spectrum of emotions. As many of you now know, the UMass clinical trial did not have the outcome we hoped for. This was the clinical trial Joe first heard about and asked us to reach out, use all of our available contacts to get him in to see Dr. Brown at UMass. So we set out on a mission to help Joe become one of only 10 people in the country selected for one of the only and most promising ALS trials of its kind. Sure enough, like so many other times in his life, Joe beat the odds and was selected to participate in the trial. While I'd like to think our efforts had something to do with him being accepted, I know in my heart how it went down. These doctors met Joe and saw his passion, his determination, and knew he would not be denied. 10 people in the whole country, and Joe found a way. As we now know, the results were not as we had hoped, but what is Joe's answer to this? Gotta press ahead. Those words speaks to Joe's courage, faith, and relentless desire to beat this insidious disease. Last year, I stood in front of you and told you stories about Joe. The pilot crew informed me of Joe's egg-throwing capabilities. I mentioned Joe's unwavering desire to constantly parade around the Pike House in his underwear, even during hallway wars and parental visits. And we all know that only after 2 years of high school football, Joe walked on to a University of Miami football program that was coming off a national championship, a squad littered with All-Americans, and made the team. That's Joe's wild and tough side. But I also told you about the softer side Joe would exhibit when he thought of performing at some of our weddings. He wasn't afraid of performing. His amazing talent would get him through that part. It was standing in front of 2 people he cared so deeply for and fighting back tears because he was filled with such raw emotion. So those were last year's stories. Well, here's a story about Joe. His brother Richie told me during one of our visits to Brooklyn. Joe was once between jobs when he was living in Jacksonville a number of years ago, so money was probably pretty tight. Now, we all know about Joe's love of music and how talented a musician and songwriter he is. So instead of sitting around, Joe decided to walk over to a local hospital and ask the staff if he could play guitar and sing for the children who were patients there. Well, needless to say, the kids and their parents loved Joe and his visits. Soon enough, the parents started to offer or even insist that Joe accept payment for his talent and his time. I'm sure it comes as a surprise to no one here that Joe refused to accept any money from the parents of these sick kids. Even at a time when he probably could have used the money, Joe would not take a dime. I'm sure he wanted all that money to go towards the mounting medical bills these families were being burdened with. I asked a few of my Pike brothers if Joe ever told them about his time at the hospital and what he did for the kids there. Not one of them said yes. What else needs to be said about somebody with a heart and spirit like that? A year ago, I asked you all a simple question. What would you do for Joe? We all knew the answer, anything. Joe would do anything for any one of us. And all of you that assembled here last year answered that question with an outpouring of love and support that quite honestly surpassed our wildest expectations. You are the reason Joe keeps fighting, getting treatments, searching for possible cures, and as he puts it, presses on. Last year I told you Joe would need our help for years to come. As you now know, Joe has moved to an assisted living facility in Jacksonville. The disease has progressed to a point where Joe needs round-the-clock assistance and he needs to be available. While this was a tough decision, Joe felt it was the right thing to do given the care he now needs. As Joe mentioned in today's email, the one person who needs to be recognized through all this is Joe's mom, Shirley. As his friends, we know the emotions that accompany watching Joe fight every day. Even for those of us that have children, we can only begin to fathom what Shirley has gone through. Watching her fight alongside Joe with strength, grace, determination, and compassion truly makes us understand what a mother's love is. Shirley has put her own needs aside during what must be the most challenging time in her life. She's done everything in her power to be there in all capacities for Joe, We thank her for all she has done and for raising someone we are all honored and privileged to call a brother and friend. Surely, as you've seen over the past year and can see here tonight, the Panebianco family is not alone and will not be alone. We are the JoePStrong family. We're all here for one purpose tonight, to help Joe and his family continue to fight, love, live, and as Joe asked us in his previous letter, to believe. Joe did not deserve the hand he was dealt. No one deserves what he's dealing with, but especially not someone with Joe's character, integrity, and heart. What Joe does deserve is our help. Joe deserves our love and support. I personally feel extremely fortunate to be surrounded by the people in this room because of what you mean to Joe and how each of you continues to step up in your own way. And every one of us should feel fortunate that we can help Joe fight, love, live, and starting right now, to believe. Now get back there and bid on some of those auction items. I thank you all for being here and again for your love and support you continue to show Joe and his family. Joe, we love you, brother. Phi Phi Kappa Alpha. Let's continue to fight, love, live, believe, and as Joe has asked us now, to visualize. Thank you for being here, everybody.